Hello everyone, welcome back to another video today. And in today's video we are talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now the game has mixed reviews with a Metacritic score of 73, but a user score of 8.4, so it seems it had its fair share of ups and downs. You know, I thought that'd be a pretty fun idea to tackle. Why did critics give it a 73 on Metacritic? Why did fans give it an 8.4? That's the purpose of this video. I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to see why. Actually, that's not the purpose at all of this video. I just want to talk about the 3 things we did and we didn't like in Dragon Ball Z. No conspiracy or anything, just straight facts. And with that being said, let's get on to those facts. 3 things we did and we didn't like in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's combat is kind of like Xenoverse's, but not exactly. Xenoverse's button mapping is different, but the general aspect behind the combat is still the same. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot thrives most during its boss fights, where enemies only get more aggressive the closer they are to death, as well as the battle system is so well captured with the intensity and chaos that is depicted in the Dragon Ball Z franchise. Seeing Vegeta raining down a storm of ki blasts from overhead onto Goku is a gameplay scenario that still manages to instill drama inside of you. It actually makes you feel like you're in the world. Rather than watching it, you're experiencing it live. Combat doesn't have that much depth, but it's enough to where it's still exciting and it's engaging, and the colors definitely benefit the fighting mechanics. Also, I think it's more than enough considering how much Dragon Ball games we got within recent times. So yeah, it'll definitely do in this game. Now, I believe this is something that can happen to many games, not just Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. But many fans say that the difficulty increases after defeating the villain Frieza. And not just by a little bit, but I mean like by a good amount. And, you know, you just want to kind of just relax after you have the sense of satisfaction, you know, after defeating a major villain like Cell. You know, you want to be relieved that you defeated a powerful foe and, you know, just go out and just kind of mingle with the grunts of the game. But in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, you don't really have that option. I mean, I believe in a video game, you need to give the player a way to grind or practice at some point in the game, you know, just some time to enjoy. But once again, in Kakarot, it seems you're not given that benefit. Almost every encounter can range from grunt to boss level fights. Like, that's how annoying it is. It's certainly not the best part about this game. And it feels as if even the Red Ribbon Army or the Cybermen could have killed Frieza. Or Cell. Like that. Which is disappointing. Very disappointing. Because I think the fighting is what makes a Dragon Ball Z game. And to know that fighting the grunts is still kind of tedious is kind of something I touched on, and the expectation versus reality. You know, if you get into a point where you don't want to interact with the common grunts of the game, you don't want to experience the fighting, that's kind of not a good sign in a fighting game. Dragon Ball Kakarot's cutscene direction is downright incredible. I think it manages to brilliantly reinterpret several key scenes from the manga and anime in gorgeous fashion. The use of the color and the framing makes some of the best scenes we've ever seen in a Dragon Ball Z game ever. I mean, they really make some of the most memorable fights come to life in ways that make you actually believe you're watching the anime. Seeing Piccolo dying again 1,000 times over and over again as we've seen in the Dragon Ball Z games, or Goku turning into a Super Saiyan like who knows for the how many time in these video games, or watching Vegeta sacrifice himself for who knows the how many time in a game really feels different. In this game, it feels like you're actually experiencing it for the first time. You know, I feel like the cutscene directors really knew what they were doing when they made this game. They really knew how to put you in the immersion of the characters and make you feel like you're actually in the show, just controlling the characters. I think that's a really great aspect of this game. And once again, I have to say that is impressive, considering we just got Dragon Ball Z Fighters 2 years ago. You know, we've had Xenoverse a couple years before that, and I think you can say they were different stories, but they've retold this story a lot, and being able to retell it again in a way that we can actually enjoy it again and not actually feel tired or give us tedium, about the feeling of reliving the Dragon Ball Z saga again, it's actually really good. They really touch down on moments that you don't actually experience in other games. So they've improved, and I can only hope that they continue going forward in this process. Hopefully they can depict Dragon Ball Super story just as accurately, if we or as immersively or fun, if we get the DLC, that's of course. Now, most open world games, yes, have boring, repetitive side quests, for the exception of The Witcher 3, and even more resilient than a normal human. They also have the ability to use signs, which are basic magic spells. I think everything in that game is exceptional. However, Dragon Ball Z isn't an exception to this. Reliving the open world, it still abides by some of those aspects as far as in the RPG genre. The side content is pretty plain. There's a lot to explore in the sense of actual landscape. As far as actually doing stuff, there's not really that much to do. You have mini games here and there, but it still feels kind of empty, and side quests do not help in the slightest. If anything, side quests are mediocre at best. I think the best side quests you have in this game are when you're actually continuously going through the story, and they involve you with active characters in the main plot, like the Earthlings during the Saiyan arc. But there's nowhere near enough of those to actually put the side quests, in the category of, it's decent now. It's actually pretty bad. This is something they need to fix and work on, as they continue adding content to the game. Maybe put in some core side quests, put in some, new characters. Just something to make these a lot more enjoyable, because people won't want to spend hours upon hours on this game. And, even when we get the new DLCs, we'll play the new DLCs, but we'll still brush off the side content, the side quests. If they can somehow manage to fix the side quests, just like how I feel, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was able to fix a lot of the things in the game, mainly microtransactions, but they made it a lot funner, granted. If they can fix that on this game, then I think they'll definitely be in the right position to kick some ass going forward in the future. Now, I feel like I touched on this when I was talking about the characters, but once again, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot definitely lives up to the hype. It takes on a pretty hefty load with adapting 4 lengthy story arcs, but it does an amazing job at it, giving you a breath of fresh air in between them, and giving you new interactions and just new scenes, and just the presentation to carry its story is said and it's delivered in the best way possible. And considering they adapted more than any other game in the series, and they delivered on almost every single detail in the story, it's incredibly fresh to experience that in the new Dragon Ball Z game. It's great. The Dragon Ball Z story feels both comprehensive and satisfying. And like I said, we can only just hope to get more DLCs in the future. So if they do that, that'll really take the game up a notch. Now, I know a lot of people have been complaining with this. It's nowhere near on the level as buggy as something like Fallout 76 was. No, that game was a complete mess from top to bottom. But every single issue was definitely something to complain about in this game. For instance, a lot of fans had trouble with the first area in the game when Gohan was following Goku. The game wouldn't have him follow. He would have him follow Goku, and then when he did, he would get stuck in objects. It's actually pretty hilarious. Yeah, the escort missions really are the worst part about that. They help. Well, you see the glitches more in the escort missions, I can say. The NPCs get stuck a lot in the rocks. Other examples include missing sound effects, button prompts, and either not appearing or not working right, and not being able to dismount on the flying Nimbus. These are things that, but I think these are fixable. I think these things can be patched in the future. I feel like the bugs are definitely something that irritate people, but they know it'll be done eventually. However, it is still annoying seeing bugs on the scheduled release day. You expect these games to come out with as minor as possible, and I think we got quite a bit for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Anyway, that's going to be the video. Now, I know there's more good to this game and there's more bad to this game, like the leveling system being kind of awkward, you know, they could touch up on that, or the music being really good. I mean, not Budokai series level good, but definitely something to hit you right in the feels. But yeah, I think I put the 3 things that I thought stood out, as well as the 3 bad things that stood out. And I think all those things that I mentioned are definitely fixable. However, if you guys do not agree with me and my opinions, that's expected. Everyone has their own, but I would still like to hear your opinions in the comments below. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, I would be a very grateful man if you liked and subscribed. It makes my day in and day out, so please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps me. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Till next time.